He built an empire on chaos. He made millions laugh, shocked the internet, and pushed boundaries no one dared cross. But behind the viral videos, the pranks, the OnlyFans empire, lies a story rarely told. This is the untold truth of Jackson O'Doherty, the king of Australian shock comedy, a millionaire by his mid-20s, a provocateur with a camera and no limits. But fame is a fire. It gives warmth until it consumes. Jackson O'Doherty wasn't born into fame. Growing up in Australia, he didn't fit the mold. While others followed rules, he broke them. But there was always one thing Jackson understood better than most: attention. And he knew exactly how to get it. He started small: cringe pranks, shirtless stunts, mock interviews. His humor, outrageous, raw, and incredibly viral. Bro, Jackson was everywhere. He just didn't care what people thought. That's what made him funny. By 2017, Jackson had cracked the code. Millions of views, international fame, collabs with other creators, and most famously, his pet kangaroo. Mansions, models, mayhem. Jackson wasn't just living the dream. He was broadcasting it 24/7. Every video had to be crazier than the last. The stakes, higher. The jokes, riskier. The fans were addicted. But so was Jackson, not to the fame, to the reaction. He wasn't just chasing likes, he was chasing adrenaline. The instant validation of a million people laughing, gasping, sharing. But when your brand is no boundaries, eventually you go too far. What started as harmless laughs began triggering real outrage. The same audience that built him started turning on him. Then came OnlyFans, a controversial platform, a financial goldmine, and for Jackson, the biggest plot twist of his career. It wasn't just risque content, it was a reinvention. He wasn't just a prankster now, he was a businessman. Millions poured in, but so did critics. Even some longtime fans asked, what happened to the old Jackson? Fame, fortune, followers. But something was off. Jackson began disappearing. Fewer posts, fewer parties, fewer smiles, burnout, anxiety, maybe even regret. Nobody really knew. But one thing was clear. Behind the scenes, Jackson was changing. Jackson moves to the Gold Coast. Content slows down. Party scenes vanish. He's not preaching. He's not perfect. But he's trying. And for the first time in a long time, Jackson seems real. He doesn't need to prove anything anymore. He's lived every version of the internet dream. The prankster, the playboy, the OnlyFans mogul. Now, maybe he's just trying to be Jackson, the man, not the brand. What most people didn't see, behind every wild video, there was a business blueprint. Jackson wasn't just making noise, he was making money. Sponsorships, ad revenue, exclusive drops, paid collabs. While the internet debated his morality, Jackson was mastering monetization. He even started mentoring other creators, quietly, behind the scenes, teaching the very chaos he used to front. But you can't climb that high without collecting enemies. Legal trouble followed. So did social feuds. One lawsuit claimed emotional distress. Another accused him of violating city regulations. One by one, controversies piled up. Jackson didn't always respond. Sometimes he clapped back. Other times, he just vanished. Now the dust is settling. New creators are rising. The internet's moving fast. But Jackson? He's become a blueprint. YouTube pranksters, OnlyFans empires, party influencers, all of them tracing his footsteps. He didn't just go viral, he inspired a genre, for better or worse. So who is Jackson O'Doherty now? Entrepreneur? Retired wild child? The man who cracked the code and paid the price? Maybe he's all of those things. Or maybe he's just done playing a role. Some stories don't end, they evolve. Subscribe for more raw stories behind the fame. Drop your thoughts below. Is Jackson changing, or is it just a new game? They say money changes people, but what happens when it's not the money, but the lifestyle that does it. Jackson's transformation wasn't just about ditching the pranks, it was about detoxing from a digital addiction. The chaos, the buzz, the followers, the hype. It's a high few people talk about, and even fewer survive. He had everything a young man could dream of: wealth, women, fame. But somewhere along the line, the dream started to eat him alive. People close to him noticed the signs: less eye contact, shorter conversations. The energy he poured into every video, every story, it was draining him. Behind the Instagram filters and high-contrast thumbnails was a man running on fumes. In the age of content, everyone's broadcasting, but no one's connecting. And Jackson, he felt that more than anyone. There was a moment, an unposted vlog caught by a second camera, that showed Jackson sitting quietly by the beach. No talking, no acting, just staring at the waves. It never made the cut. But team members remember that day. That was the moment they say he began questioning everything. He started deleting old content, not just for copyright or PR reasons, but because he couldn't relate to that person anymore. The man in the thumbnails felt like a character from a different lifetime, someone he had outgrown, but the internet hadn't. And then came the fans, the diehards, the loyal ones, the confused ones, the betrayed ones. Some said he was selling out. Others said he was glowing up. But Jackson didn't respond to most of it. He let the silence speak. Because when you've built a brand around being loud, sometimes the loudest thing you can do is go quiet. He experimented with fitness, meditation, journaling. For someone used to going viral for pushing limits, going inward was the hardest thing he'd ever done. He started talking to his family more, spending real time, not just content time, with friends. And in those unposted moments, he began finding what he never had before: peace. Of course, not everything stayed peaceful. The internet doesn't let go easy. Rumors kept surfacing. Clickbait kept cashing in. Jackson's broke. Jackson's canceled. Jackson joins cult. None of it was true, but some people believed it anyway. Because when you go quiet, people fill in the blanks with their own stories. But Jackson didn't try to fix the narrative. He just kept working in silence, investing, creating, building something real, not for the algorithm, but for himself. And slowly, a new audience began to notice, not the ones chasing clout, the ones looking for authenticity, the ones tired of plastic perfection and craving something raw. Today, Jackson doesn't post as often, but when he does, it's real, unfiltered, sometimes even uncomfortable. And that's what makes it powerful. He's not chasing virality, he's building legacy. Because maybe the wildest thing Jackson Doherty ever did was grow up. And still, there's one side of the story that hasn't been fully told: his philanthropy. While Jackson never branded himself a savior, he quietly began donating to mental health organizations. He sponsored wellness retreats, paid for therapy sessions for fans in crisis. No cameras, no credit, just action. He also started a creator house, not like the typical influencer mansions, but one designed around growth. Creators were expected to work on their art, their mindset, and their purpose. Think less hype, more healing. Most people don't even know it exists. Behind closed doors, Jackson's been doing talks, small ones, off the grid, speaking to schools about fame, pressure, and online burnout. Not the kind of talks that trend, but the kind that matter. Some influencers chase relevance forever. Jackson chose to reinvent, not for views, for survival. This isn't a redemption story because he hit rock bottom. It's a redemption story because he chose to rise before he fell any further. And that's the part most people never see. Thanks for watching today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. Be sure to leave a comment. Who should we make new video about?